Okay, there's your regular season, boys. Game wrapped up maybe half an hour ago. I was watching the end of the other games, and Seattle Seahawks win, go to 6-2 at home, 10-6 overall. I think in my pre-season video, video I made right before the season started, I predicted 10-6. We didn't get there exactly how I thought we would get there, but we got there. So that's got to be considered pretty successful given all the turnover we had in the offseason and all the things we had to, patch together to get this team in shape to where they could actually go have this kind of year. So I'm pretty happy with the overall product right now. 10-6, those seasons don't grow on trees, and we have had them 6 out of 7 years under the Wilson, Carroll, Wagner era. So let's just talk about this game in this video. I didn't make a pregame video because I wasn't that high. I wasn't that hyped on this game. I wasn't really sure how much I cared about it because we were playing the worst team in football at home, and I really thought the Bears were going to beat the Vikings, which they did. So I also thought, this game doesn't mean a lot. Who's going to play? As it turns out, we played basically everybody we could. Now, the people we didn't play because we couldn't, that ended up being kind of a big deal. So I'll get to that as well because, I'll just straight up say it. That wasn't exactly fun. That was not really a fun game to watch. It was not a fun game to see your team play like that. And we are fortunate to come out of there with the victory in many ways. But I'm not panicking. I saw some people on Twitter, some people I follow and respect, they're, freaking out a little bit, but there's no need to panic. We didn't play our best game, obviously. We needed a field goal at the gun to beat the worst team in football at home. And some of the stuff that happened out there today was really not okay. So, talking about this game, I think there are two reasons why this game was so close. One, offensive line. I don't know what I expected, given that we had no Fluker, we had no Sweezy, and Ifedi was playing out of position. So I don't know what exactly I was expecting, but I was kind of expecting more than that. Every third down, the offensive line got blown up. I'm the first person to blame Russell Wilson when I think a sack is on him, but there might have been one sack today where I felt like he was holding onto the ball too long and ran into pressure. He got sacked 6 times today, tied for a season high. It's a miracle it wasn't 7. He escaped like 3 people on one play to not make it 7. So basically, a lot of it can be traced to the guys we didn't have out there. I mean, Posick looked like shit. Posick, I don't know if he's savable at this point. He's been in the league 2 years, and he can't do anything right now. Last year, I kind of liked some of the stuff he was showing as a rookie. This year, he's been completely unplayable every time he's been on the field. Some people were saying last week he played okay, maybe, but he certainly hasn't shown anything to tell me he's going to be good. So that was unfortunate. Ifedi looked like crap. I know he was playing at guard when he's better as a tackle. Not that he's great as a tackle, but he's clearly better as a tackle. But he couldn't get it done, and Fant was not great either. And I understand that the offensive line's going to have problems when they're missing 2 guys and another guy's playing out of position, but every third down, Wilson was getting swarmed, and they were not bringing 8-man blitzes or anything nuts like that. They were just bringing normal pressure. On one play, Posick would miss his guy. On another play, Davis would get blown up. On another play, Posick would get pushed back and force Davis into a 2-yard loss. Again, it wasn't just the pass protection, although the pass protection was the main thing that was really awful in this game. Wilson's been sacked a lot this year. Even in the games where we protected him pretty well, he usually gets sacked 2 or 3 times. But he was, however, getting good protection on most of his plays. When he wasn't getting sacked, he was getting the opportunity to make big plays, and that was allowing our offense to be pretty good. But today, That just wasn't happening. On third down, the money down, he almost never had a chance to make a big play. Only thing I can remember on third down that was good in the passing game was the touchdown to Lockett, which was completely a blown coverage anyway. But the running game, the numbers look okay. Carson had a 61-yard run. Davis had a 17-yard run. I think that was the touchdown run. Other than those two long runs, they struggled a little bit today. They did not really have a great day. Carson had half his yards on one carry. Other than that, he had a lot of no gainers, 1-yard gainers, 2-yard gainers, which is not like him at all. Davis, a little bit better maybe, but not a great game for those guys, and you got to put a lot of that on this offensive line. Rashad Penny, nothing from him. It was his first game back in a couple weeks, and I don't know what we're doing with Rashad Penny coming into the playoffs, because I know he's good. I know he's talented. I really like him. He showed me something in quite a few games this year, but we also know that he did not play well for like 2 months after he came back from that preseason injury. It took him almost 2 months to get going. So if he's going to come back from this injury and also not really going to be good for a while, then he's not going to be any good for us this postseason. So I don't know what's going on with Penny. I don't know if his lack of production today was on him. I'm sure it's mostly on the offensive line, but he didn't look like the player that I saw us have against teams like the Rams and the 49ers, where he looked really good. So I'm a little concerned about that, but offensively, I can put most of our struggles on this offensive line. I do have to say, Doug Baldwin dropped 2 passes, which you'll almost never see happen. I mean, Doug, 2 passes in a row, both of them first downs that he just put on the ground. And, I mean, I don't know if Doug's dropped a pass all season before today, and you don't like to see that. But you also know it doesn't happen very often. Vanette had a drop on third down that probably would have been a conversion that I think led directly to the blocked punt that got returned for a touchdown. So we don't like that. I mean, it's not like we asked Nick Vanette to do that much, so we should be able to depend on him to catch a few passes. David Moore still got a lot of learning to do in this league. I mean, that play where the pick, it made me think of the Super Bowl way more than I wanted to. So, we see the talent with David Moore, but he has got a lot to learn in this league. I mean, he needs an off season of seasoning or something, because right now we see the talent on some of these plays, but we also see him blow some of the basics of being an NFL wide receiver. So that's your offense. I'm not going to hate on really anybody except this offensive line for playing like complete shit, but they did play like shit. So Lockett, phenomenal. That's the one guy on this offense that I really want to shout out, and I'll give it to Carson too, because he overcame the shitty offensive line play to have that one long game that gave him a good day. The other part of this team that I really got to get on is the special teams. Why Brian Schottenheimer still works for this team, I don't know. I have no idea. But Brian Schottenheimer, get the fuck out of this city at the end of this season, whenever it ends. We have one more game at least. Hopefully we have more. But as soon as our season's over, whenever it may be, we need to get a new special teams coach, because they're clearly not listening. 2 blocked punts, resulting in 14 points directly for the Arizona Cardinals. Another punt that was almost blocked. 2 terrible punt coverages that resulted in good field position for Arizona that resulted in points. You can trace most of the points we gave up in this game to special teams. You really can. And it was bad last year, and I wanted Schottenheimer gone. I've been saying Schottenheimer this whole time. Not Schottenheimer. Schneider. Brian Schneider. My bad. Brian Schottenheimer, you're okay with me right now. You're okay. We'll see. It's week to week. But Brian Schneider, that is some nepotistic type shit we got with him right now, because he has been bad for a few years now. And I was willing to give him this year because, what else can we do? But I wanted him gone after last season. And this season, the special teams has just disintegrated to the point where it is a huge liability. The blocked punts now, two in one game, almost 3. The bad punt coverage, the bad kickoff coverage. Every time Seabass kicks a field goal, he's got a dude flying in there looking like he's like this close to blocking it. It's just bad. It's just bad. And there's no way I trust the special teams to help us win games in the playoffs. Like, we have a competitive game next week against the Cowboys. I think we can win that game, but if it comes down to anything to do with special teams, I'm going to hate it. I am going to be terrified. So, yeah, whenever this season ends, unless the special teams has a giant come-to-Jesus moment in the playoffs, pack your bags, Brian Schneider. I feel bad. I was saying Schottenheimer by accident, but I'm actually pretty okay with Schottenheimer right now. It's Schneider, Brian Schneider. It is nepotism that he's still here right now, honestly, probably. It's time to put that to bed. So that's why this game was close. That's why we almost lost this game. That's why we needed to depend on shit like, Arizona dropping some passes and having some miscommunications and, just, making enough mistakes to blow this game because they had the opportunity to flat out win this game, and they're not a very good team. Josh Rosen is a terrible quarterback. They have, the touchdown pass they gave up to Lockett was obviously a completely blown coverage, just shit like that. Because, I just talked about the offense, special teams. Defense played really good today for me. I thought the defense, look, 5 years ago, the Seahawks defense would have eaten Josh Rosen alive because he sucks, and we just would have murdered him all game long. We don't have that kind of defense, but the defense that we have, 6 sacks, plenty of pressure for most of the game. Not as much as Arizona got, but we got good pressure on Rosen. 6 sacks, like I said, Clark with a couple, Reed with a couple, Jefferson. Martin had a good game. Jacob Martin played well today. Shout out to him. Bobby Wagner, good as always. KJ Wright made some nice plays. Puna. Love to see it from Puna. To me, the defense did its job. Almost all the points they gave up were on the special teams, honestly. I do have a little bit of a bone to pick with the defense on that last field goal drive that let Arizona tie it up, but even then, we're forcing the Cardinals to kick a 55-yard field goal with a crappy kicker, and he nails it. But, yeah, from this defense, I saw Shaquille Griffin got hurt. I don't know if he came back or not. I don't think he did, which would obviously be bad, but I didn't get the sense it was super severe. So I'm not sweating that too much right now. But, yeah, defense did their job to me. They probably would have held the Arizona Cardinals under 10 points if not for the special team shit. So, yeah. I'm not happy about everything I saw out there today. There were some holes. The good news is Fluker and Sweezy are supposed to be back next week. I fully expect the offensive line to play much better against a really good Dallas defense, by the way, when they get their guys back. But we clearly cannot survive playing all these backups. And I want to be sympathetic because most teams couldn't, but it was not supposed to be that bad today. It was way worse than it should have been. So, figure it out. On to the Dallas Cowboys next week. Good win today. Not really a good game. I got problems with the way this team executed, but I'm sympathetic to at least half of it. I'll give the offensive line a bit of slack because they were missing their guys, but shout out to Seabass. He did his job. Michael Dixon did his job the best he could, given that, we couldn't block for the man, but it's not hard to block for punts. How many blocked punts happen in a season? Like maybe 20 at most? It's not hard to block for a punt. You just have to do your job. And we have too many people on this team who are not doing their job. All right, I'm going to go check out this late game. Pretty good one. Go Hawks. 5 seed, 10-win season. Wilson sets a new personal record for touchdown passes in a season. Carson went over, I think, 1,100 yards now. He might even... Let me look real quick here, actually. Yeah, he went over 1,100 rushing yards on the season. Just good stuff. Let me see. Did Lockett? I'll talk more about the season when I feel like it's appropriate for me to do so. But I just want to talk about this game mainly. But Lockett close to 1,000 yards on the season, and it wasn't a perfect season by any stretch, but I have to consider this season a success right now, and I think all Seahawks fans should. It wasn't perfect. but it was a success. All right, I'm out of here.